an Egyptian actor and activist. You may know him from the very recent series of The Crown. Please give a very, very warm welcome to Khalid Abdalla.
Thank you. I speak to you today with a mixture of pride and grief. For those of you who've been marching now for 6 months, I imagine you have a story like mine. I stand in front of you now as an inheritor of the struggle for Palestinian liberation. It was on my father's shoulders when I was 3 that I was taken to my very first demonstration, learning to chant Free Palestine, when even the word Palestine was something our politicians wouldn't say without courting controversy. And now here I stand, that child grown up into a 43-year-old man whose children are here today. And while it fills me with pride to have them here and stand in front of them demanding a free Palestine, I dream of a world in which this is not the legacy we pass on to them. I do not dream of a world in which in 20, let alone 40 years, my children stand in Trafalgar Square demanding justice for the Palestinians, demanding an end to the occupation. We stand here on a threshold. There is no time in these 40 years in which we were in our thousands and our millions, week after week after week. The moment we are living is that change in global consciousness that we have been waiting for 75 years. Stand, you will know that among the many things that have marked these months is the thousands of children who have been killed, orphaned, maimed, and the thousands who have survived, for whom this is the beginning of their life. Amongst the most powerful chants, whose children? Our children! Whose children?
Our children!
Whose children?
Our children!
While I have been part of this struggle for over 40 years, since I was a child, I know that there are parts of me that grew up into the silences, that had come to believe that taking risks was not worth it because somehow this struggle wouldn't end in my lifetime. But now we have reached a moment where the silences we lived have created the circumstances for a genocide. Over 30,000 dead and all the harrowing numbers and statistics of devastation we read day after day. We cannot allow this to continue for another generation. We need a world built on freedom and justice for all, in which never again are words that stand for everyone, in which we honor the legacy of the Holocaust and grieve those killed on October 7th, knowing that to do so deeply, we must also honor the legacy of the ongoing Nakba and the thousands killed in war after war, day after day. The two do not stand in contradiction. The only future possible is one in which our grief and our traumas bring us together to honor each other and stand as one with the fullness of our backgrounds and who we are, as we do on these love marches that keep walking despite those who trade in hate and slander us. Free Palestine, yes, but also no Palestine will set you free. Now is the time to live that as deeply as we can. The path of freedom and justice does not circumvent Palestine. It brings down its walls, it brings down the apartheid, it ends the occupation. As Nelson Mandela said, we know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinian. Let us be the generation that walk that path for all our children. I was asked to read a poem, and I will read If I Must Die by Refaat Alareer, who you will know died and was killed December. And you may remember me also from the Kite Runner, so here we go. If I must die, you must live. To tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale. Thank you very much.